Hey there, my name is Bradley Fabretti. My U number is u94949919. Today we'll be talking about the simulation that we've completed in class for the past 6 weeks. The simulation was on an 8-round simulation. However, we will be discussing 3 rounds a day, which are going to be round 3, round 4, and round 5, indicated by the round indicator here, as well as talking about the different companies, what they kind of did, how they were able to accumulate such profits or not profits along those lines, and then the respected numbers that they got in each different category as well. We'll be looking at 3 different sheets. The first sheet we'll be looking at is this one right here. This one's going to be indicating the profits for each round by company. They're just broken up into the separate rounds, and it indicates how much profits they did get in that round respected to the different companies that we had. The next sheet is going to be looking at the size of sales for each company. So this isn't going to be the profits, but the actual units that they sold. And the size of the shape will indicate how much they've done and how little they've done. And it's a good representation of who sold more, who did not. As you can see here, Harper is a little bit bigger than Baldwin. As you can see, they sold pretty much 60,000 units more than Baldwin did, Harper. So we're looking at that as well. And then the last one we'll be looking at is the contribution margins for rounds 3 through 5 and their respected rounds and their respected companies that they were going for. So here on our dashboard, we have all 3 of our different charge graphs and indicators that we wanted to look at today. So we're going to be starting to look at this size of the sales. As you can see, this is going to be the average size. Sales were 147,000 average-wise. Obviously, there are companies such as Baldwin that were below that, and companies that were above it, like Harper. As you can see, they fairly stayed pretty similar through the rounds. Harper 1,570. Harper once again 139,000, and then 151. So they stay in that range, and it's pretty easy to see that in all of the companies. Erie here once 160,000, 194,000, 195,000. The contribution margin down here, it's indicated green is a good number that they want. You really want to stay above that 30% margin, just so you're able to accumulate profits and you're not spending so much in costs for the production of it or the assembly of it or anything along those lines. So you definitely want to stay in that 30% range, which is indicated by the green, and anybody in the red has gone below that 30 mark. And then profits for each round by the company. We kind of talked about this already, but just the profits overall, how they've gone up and how they've gone down. And we can see here that a lot of companies were not very profitable within the whole entire simulation between round 3 and 5. Majority of the companies were very, very low in profits. As you can see, Digby reaching a high low of 23,000, which really equates to 23 million within this simulation. So 3 comprehensions that we saw when looking at this data is, as you can see here, people who had higher contribution margins are going to probably produce at a higher profit level. So as you can see here, Andrews, they were green the whole time. They were in profit pretty much the whole time. They did go a little bit under here. And then Erie, they did pretty good. They were going up, but then they shot down. They kept going down each time. Doesn't really show it here, but they did do a little bit less profits, and then they did a little bit better, and then they shot down, especially when they went below that 30% margin for the contribution margin. You can easily see that here, indicates here. Even though Erie did one of the higher number of sales, 194,000 in round 4, 33, it's going to be that 3,000 lost profits. And then Digby here, they're just negative the whole entire way. And you can just easily see that compared to their profits. Even though Digby, once again, has a high number of sales above the average. So if we take a look at here, if we click on Digby, it's going to change the graphs. As you can see here, it's going to indicate $23,000 in lost profits just because they had this contribution margin being so low. But doesn't show that through the size of the sales for each company. So definitely interesting on that end of it, as well as the sales does not really indicate the amount of profits that they're going to get. As you can see here, once again, Baldwin, they had a very small amount of sales. However, they profited in round 3, but then they went down and down. And that's just not what you really want to see within a simulation like this. So that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at is contribution margin compared to the size and the profits between them, and how profits does not always equate to the amount of size of the sale. Like I said, once again, Garrett being very, very small, but having one of the bigger amounts of profits compared to everybody else, one of the top three, even though they were one of the smallest ones, once again. Thank you once again for listening. This has been Bradley Fabretti showing the capstone simulation findings. Thank you.